I mean, the temperature has plummeted. It was 78 degrees this afternoon. It's 38 right now. ASU won the toss. They're deferring, so they will kick it deep. And Utah's offense is going to be on the field first here tonight. An offense that looks totally different than a Texas Tech team. Much better last week, Brock, and we'll see what Dampier does in these conditions tonight. He is a dynamic runner, that's for sure. But he's going to throw the ball on the first play of the game, and that one looked like it went right through the hands of Wayshawn Parker, the running back who went out as a receiver.
Yeah, and we're going to see a lot of that very early on. Both of these teams have to battle Mother Nature as this rain continues to pour down here in Salt Lake City. I'm surprised on the first play of the game that you elect to throw to a running back rather than try to establish the run.
If you had told me that the first play of the game was going to be a pass, I would have said you're crazy. They hand it off on second down to Parker. They've split carries for the most part. Wayshawn Parker and Nakari Rogers both have been primary running backs for the Utes, and right away a third down.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what Utah goes with here. You know, they're a team that they do such a great job of staying ahead of the sticks, but here in an obvious passing situation, can Devin Dampier find a completion for a first down?
A little play fake, and he throws it. He's got an open receiver caught for a first down. That's the tight end, Dallin Bentley.
Really great job by this Utah offensive line, giving Dampier time to look down the field off of play action. Where he wanted to go with that football wasn't open initially. He had to double clutch. Great pickup for the Utes.
13 yards and a designed run, it looked like, or at least an option for a run for Dampier, who will do a lot of that tonight.
He is. This offense is really, it reminds me a lot of almost like the triple option. It's the quarterback can hand it off to the running back. The quarterback can keep it, or he can keep it, and then there's a throwing element to it. So for this ASU defense, you have to have disciplined eyes.
Well, Parker gets a carry, found a hole, and Parker gets another Utah first down into Arizona State territory. The other part of this equation when the Utes have the ball, Sun Devils coming into the year, you think Scadaboo last year, Jordan Tyson, their great wide receiver, Levitt the quarterback. It's really been the defense that has been their best unit.
Oh, they've been outstanding. This ASU defense led by Brian Ward, they're a big reason why this football team is 4-1 at this point in the year.
Parker gets another carry right side and gets 3 on first down.
You know, staying on that Brian Ward and ASU defense topic, the Arizona State offense, they've really had some slow starts to start the season. If you look at what they've done in the first quarter, it hasn't been great. It's the defense that is allowing this Arizona State offense to find their footing and stay in football games and ultimately win it in the fourth quarter.
Extra big guys up front on this second down carry. Left side, Parker tried to get around the corner and couldn't do it. Good tackle by Tate Romney, one of the many linebackers we'll see in this game for the Sun Devils.
Now with Utah in plus territory, you have to assume that this is probably 4-down territory for Utah. So they have 2 downs to get about 5 yards here. I expect them to put the football on the ground.
ASU, I thought they jumped, and here come the penalty flags. So they're going to take the free play and just heave it up. But I'm 99% sure that's offsides on the Sun Devils. Abney almost had an interception. We'll get the official call for this Big 12 crew.
Offside. Defense. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
All right, so the penalty gives Utah the first down.
It's linebacker Tate Romney, 24, right in the middle of your screen. He's had a good year, the redshirt junior for Arizona State. Just a critical error that gives Utah a fresh set of downs here. No need for 4-down territory when you're able to pick up a fresh set off the penalty.
So now Rogers in for the first time at tailback for Utah. Maybe a little bit more of a power back, although he and Parker have a lot of similarities. And now Utah's going to have to burn a timeout. So early in this game, on the first drive of the game, and Kyle Whittingham's kind of looking around going, what just happened?
30 seconds.
So the timeout for Utah. They got the ball to start this game, and so far we got the report from Stormy down there. I mean, even just 25 minutes ago, the wind was howling. It was pouring rain. I'm not saying it's nice out there, but it looks to be a little bit more manageable.
It's slowly getting there, but you can see the rain's coming down. At the end of the day, the flags are still whipping a bit here in the stadium, but I think you need to give a ton of credit to Devin Dampier and the rest of the offensive unit for the Utah Utes on this opening drive. They're doing a tremendous job of handling Mother Nature on this drive. They've done a really good job of establishing the line of scrimmage behind their big offensive line physical group. And Devin Dampier already made a big completion on a 3rd down tonight to get a fresh set of downs for his ball club.
It's a huge question for Utah. He's a dynamic runner. They have a big physical offensive line. Can they get any semblance of a downfield passing game going to complement the ground game? Dampier kind of throws on the move, and that was a very nice delivery to Ryan Davis, who's kind of Mr. Reliable for Utah.
He is. Davis came over from New Mexico with his quarterback, Devin Dampier, so they have great chemistry, a really good rapport. And that's something that you're going to see a lot of tonight. Getting Devin Dampier outside the pocket at 5'11", it helps him see and deliver the football.
First carry of the game for Rodgers. Tried to go straight ahead behind some of those big offensive linemen and stopped about a yard short. So it's going to be 3rd down and 1 for Utah. The kicking game, I would think, would be impacted by the conditions.
It certainly is. You know, with the wind still blowing, wet football.
Rodgers carries, and it's a 1st down. Utes down to the 20.
Yeah, a lot of decisions are going to have to be made by these head coaches in plus territory, where on a clear night, you know, maybe if you don't get that 1st down there, it's a go-ahead gimme field goal, where tonight you're going to look at a lot more situations, I think, as 4-down territory.
Going quicker tempo, and they'll give it on a end around for the wideout, like a jet sweep type action, and a nice gain inside the 15.
Boy, Jason Beck is calling a really good start to this football game for Utah. I like what he's doing. He's mixing tempo. He's getting the football out to the perimeter, mixing play action, booting his quarterback outside the pocket. He really has ASU guessing right now.
That was Daniel Bray, the 3rd running back, who was in a wideout kind of position, who had that carry the play before. Now Rodgers for a short gain. It's 3rd down.
Big question here is what gives. Utah's been one of the best teams in the entire country when it comes to scoring touchdowns in the red zone. ASU, one of the best defenses.
Another handoff and nowhere to go. Rodgers got stuffed. Elijah O'Neal, he had some help. He kind of led the way for the Sun Devils, and now let's see what Kyle Whittingham wants to do. He's keeping the offense on the field.
Yeah, this looks like no hesitation, and I can't blame him. In these conditions, to snap, hold, and kick, it's going to be really difficult. I expect Utah here, behind that big physical offensive line that we've already talked about, to try to pick up these 2 yards.
Now Kenny Dillingham comes sprinting down the sideline, the head coach for Arizona State, and burns his first timeout. So we've had a timeout on both sides in the first 5 minutes of this game.
Of the half. 30 seconds.
The offensive line is definitely a part of the story and maybe the strength of this Utah team.
Well, they certainly are. Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu, 2 future top 15 picks in the NFL draft, definitely first rounders. Watch what Spencer Fano does a couple weeks ago, how he's able to climb up to the 2nd level. Not only is he strong and powerful, he's athletic and has great feet, and then his counterpart at left tackle, Caleb Lomu. Watch how he just engulfs the Wyoming Cowboys defensive end, shows the physicality, athleticism to pull. These guys are as good as it gets in the country. Left side, Caleb Lomu. Right tackle, Spencer Fanu, an All-American a season ago, and they are all over Mel Kiper's potential 1st-round picks in the upcoming NFL draft.
So 10:01 to go, 1st quarter, 1st drive of the game. Our protection spotlight brought to you by Prudential. 4th and 2 for Utah.
I expect to see quarterback run here. Devin Dampier needs to keep the football in his hands.
He does, and he will walk in, touchdown. Now that's a good start to the game for the Utah offense. 14 plays, 75 yards, took 5 minutes, mostly on the ground as you would expect, and a touchdown to start the night. $11 of those 14 plays on the ground. Even after the very first play of the game was a pass play. Dylan Curtis, the young place kicker, with the point after, and that one's up and good. Taking none of those for granted tonight.
Well, that's a picture-perfect start for the Utah Utes. Moiai and Bentley open up a gaping hole for Devin Dampier, and Utah strikes first. Here's Moiai and Bentley on the kick down, and there you see Moko Fisi, the right guard, on the beautiful kick out. And Dampier just needs to make one miss in the open field and then go hit his head on the goalpost. Just an excellent job of execution by that Utah Utes offensive line, tight ends, and the legs of Devin Dampier. You have to have an answer for that tonight with a quarterback like him and the run game that he brings. They are going to be able to play 11 on 11 tonight. No advantage for the ASU defense.
All right, fair catch for the Sun Devils, and now maybe the biggest story of the whole game is with the Sun Devils offense taking the field without Sam Levitt, their leader, their outstanding quarterback. The experienced Jeff Sims will get his second start in his ASU career.
Well, and the good news is he started 26 career games between his time at Georgia Tech, Nebraska, and one game a season ago for Arizona State. So he's very experienced. He's a dual threat guy. He can run the football. He can throw the football. The biggest key is he hasn't played meaningful snaps in an entire year. Offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo needs to get him comfortable early.
A play fake, so he's going to throw it on his first play. Down the right sideline, good coverage, and the ball was knocked away. Trying to hit Jalen Moss, who is playing for the first time since week 1. He's finally healthy.
I really like that call by Marcus Arroyo out the gates. What a better way to settle your quarterback than to let him unleash one on the first play of the game. But you got to give credit to Elijah Davis. He had excellent coverage down the field.
And I said it was Moss. It was 16, Jaron Hamilton, who is a guy that ASU would like to establish as a downfield threat. Sims is going to keep it after a play fake. He gets tripped up. He had a little room in front, and he's got that great speed, but got tripped up after a short gain. It'll be third down.
And that's what I was just saying. That's what Sims brings to the table. He's very athletic. You are going to see a lot of zone read tonight where he's going to put those Utah defensive ends in conflict where they have to make a decision. Do they run with the running back or do they go with the quarterback? Sam Levitt being out tonight is certainly going to have an impact on the ball game.
I saw him on the field during the abbreviated warm-ups. He has big boot on, covered by a plastic bag with all the rain. And he will not play tonight. Sims with pressure coming and a nice delivery, but in the open field tackle. And Eusebio, who made the catch, got stopped about a yard short. And Arizona State is going to keep the offense on the field in a very unusual formation.
We'll see if they snap the football or if they're just trying to do a hard count on Utah and try to pick up a cheap first down.
They need a yard. This would be a gamble in this part of the field. They're going to snap it. They're going to hand it off. Raleek Brown is going to get the first down. You know, he's not the biggest guy, but man, has he been running tough lately.
He's done an excellent job for the Sun Devils the last couple of weeks, really taking the reins of the starting running back position. But you need to give a lot of credit to this ASU offensive line. We've talked about how big and physical the Utes are. Arizona State, they have an excellent offensive line as well.
We had that shot of the head coach, man. Kenny Dillingham, he will roll the dice. He is not afraid to take some chances. So the Sun Devils' first drive continues. First and 10 ASU, and Brown is going to turn the left corner. He's got such a burst, pushed out of bounds after a gain of 8. And we welcome those of you joining us from Kyle Field in College Station. We're in Salt Lake City, Utah, for a very important game in the Big 12. Dave Fleming, Brock Osweiler, Stormy Bonatoni. The weather actually is better now than it was even just a few minutes ago. That's a big part of the story of this game. Utah had the ball first, went right down the field. Now Arizona State is trying to counter. Raleek Brown with a nice carry into Utah territory for the first time. And if you are just joining us, we'll repeat the biggest story on the Sun Devils side. No Sam Levitt tonight, the experienced, but the backup quarterback Jeff Sims is getting the start.
Well, and you just said it. That's the biggest key. He is an experienced backup quarterback. He has started 26 football games in major college football between his time at Georgia Tech, Nebraska, and a game ago for the Sun Devils. So he brings a lot to the table tonight.
Play fake. He's going to throw across the middle, and he whistled it right past the head of Jordan Tyson, the outstanding All-American wide receiver. Incomplete. It'll be second down.
And I think the biggest thing for Jeff Sims tonight is he has to understand he doesn't need to be Superman. He brings a great skill set to the table, but he has so much talent around him. Let the other 10 guys help you out. Lean on your All-American wide receiver. Lean on your strong, talented offensive line. You don't need to be Superman. Just protect the football and keep the car on the road.
You saw Sam Levitt on the sideline wearing the raincoat, not in pads tonight. Sims, the fake, made one man miss and did well just to get back across the line of scrimmage. So Jeff Sims now with a third down and 9 coming up in Utah territory.
Well, and this is the first real obvious passing situation for the Sun Devils. So the big question is, how can they hold up against the two ultra-talented defensive ends in Logan Fano and John Henry Daly? These guys have been feasting on opposing quarterbacks to this point in the season. Jeff Sims needs to find a quick answer with the football.
Third down and 9, and he'll hand it off. How about that? Raleek Brown had nowhere to go. Utah was not fooled at all. Kind of play call that makes you think they were thinking 2 plays to get the 9 yards, but when you don't get much on first down, we'll see.
Well, it's definitely 4-down territory, and that's why Arizona State ran the football. You can play the field position game here early on if you want to. You're certainly out of field goal range by calling a run there. It's setting it up here for 4th down. I would like to see Marcus Arroyo try to get Jeff Sims outside the pocket where he has a run-throw option.
Now, this is 4th and 7 for Arizona State on their first drive of the game. Pressure comes, a little screen thrown, and the pass caught. Fight to try to get that extra yard, and I think he just got it. And Jordan Tyson, great individual effort, and with what looks to be the spot, I think he got there. And they're going to say first down, Arizona State. Wow.
What a great effort by Jordan Tyson on the tunnel screen. You see the first contact comes well short of the line to gain. Question is where did his knee first touch the turf in relation to the football?
I think it was a good call, but if I were the Sun Devils, I'd get this play snapped as fast as I could.
Absolutely. Get up to the line of scrimmage and snap this football before Utah can challenge.
Udo in the backfield. They do get it snapped, and Kanye Udo got tripped up in the backfield. That was Smith Snowden who got there from his cornerback position to make the tackle.
Snowden blitzing off the slot. This is a guy that'll mix playing outside corner position as well as the slot corner. Extremely dynamic athlete for the Utah Utes. Not only does he play both corner positions, he's also playing some wide receiver and running back on offense.
Style of play for Utah's offense has changed dramatically. On defense, they're the same kind of team. Morgan Scalley still in charge. You're going to see a lot of blitzing, a lot of pressures toward the end zone, and that pass is incomplete. Well, Malik McLean was just blanketed in coverage there. And that was Jackson Benny who was over there to knock it away.
Boy, that was a pretty good throw by Jeff Sims, especially considering the weather we have here tonight, but a little bit of hand fighting between Cotton and McLean. Unfortunately, McLean's not able to come up with the catch. Forces another third and obvious passing situation for the Sun Devils. They are in field goal range at this point, so you got to wonder, do they play it a bit safe and go with another screen, or do they try to push the ball down the field and pick up a fresh set of downs?
Yeah, that was really Cotton who made that play. 3rd down and long. Took a hit, trying to hit Tyson, and lots of contact. Here come the penalty flags. Jordan Tyson, who fights back for the ball as well as maybe any receiver in the country. He was trying to get there, and they didn't let him get there. The penalty flags were thrown. When you need a play, sometimes for Arizona State, the best option is throw it up to that guy.
Defense number 2, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that's going to be a really fun matchup to watch tonight. Smith Snowden and Jordan Tyson, 2 guys that are going to play in the National Football League, going at it here in man coverage. Morgan Scalley, defensive coordinator, elects to bring it all-out pressure, which is what creates the one-on-one situation down the field. And Tyson does an excellent job of fighting back to the underthrown football.
Conditions have gotten better here. 4:02 to go first quarter. Utah went 14 plays, scored a touchdown the first time they had it. This is the 13th play of the game opening drive for Arizona State. Raleek Brown gets the carry left side, and Brown with a penalty flag thrown, cut it upfield, but I think this one is coming backwards.
Holding, offense number 55, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Jamedo Obibo called for the penalty.
It's going to be the left guard, just gets his hands outside of the frame of the defender. Keep your eyes right there. So Obibo at left guard, just working up to the linebacker, Trey Reynolds. You see the obvious hold. It's going to be easy call for the officials every time.
With Ben Coleman in the injury tent, it's Wade Helton, who's sort of the 6th offense, although Arizona State, they do rotate a couple other guys in there, but sort of the 6th offensive lineman. He's now in playing center. On 1st and 20 after the holding penalty. To get a first down, Sun Devils have to get all the way down to the 8-yard line. Sims with pressure coming, throws toward that end zone, and the pass is incomplete. Trying to get Tyson again, and once again Blake Cotton was there with the coverage. Really nice coverage by Cotton, squeezing Tyson out to the sideline, using the sideline as an extra defender. I love the recognition by Jeff Sims to see his All-American wide receiver in man-to-man in the slot to take a shot, but the quarterback needs to give his wide receiver an opportunity to make a play on that football. If there's a wide receiver in all of college football that you would say that about most, it might be about that guy.
He's as good as anybody at winning the 50-50 ball in America.
Just give him a chance. 2nd down and very long. Brown in the backfield. Sims is going toward Tyson again. Incomplete. Tyson had a step that time on the other side of the field, working against Snowden.
It was really dealer's choice for Jeff Sims. Utah once again in a man situation. He had 3 guys that he could have gone to with the football, but you got to give Utah a lot of credit. With that man coverage, they're playing really, really good tight coverage right now. I think the key here for Jeff Sims is just be smart with the football. It's 3rd and a mile, 3rd and 20. The odds of picking this up is going to be very difficult. You have a field goal attempt in your back pocket right now. You cannot take a negative play.
Brown in the backfield to swing it out to Raleek Brown. Nice catch on the move. And Brown breaks a tackle, which does make a difference in terms of what is likely going to be a field goal try coming up. He got all the way down to about the 21. So that does make a difference. And the Arizona State drive, which was 14 plays, more than 6.5 minutes, 15 plays now, more than 6.5 minutes, is going to finish with a field goal attempt. Jesus Gomez, who's done a very good job this year, kind of stabilize the kicking game for the Sun Devils from 38 yards out. Wind has definitely died down. A little bit of a high snap, and that kick is on the way and good. So the Sun Devils move down the field and get 3 late in the first quarter in Salt Lake City. Utes leads 7-3. It's wet, it's windy. There was violent weather right up almost until game time, and yet it's filled in. I'm impressed. A low kickoff is going to skip through the end zone, and the Utah offense will come back on the field. Devin Dampier and the Utes offense, they had a nice first drive.
Boy, I thought they really came out the gate swinging. Devin Dampier, this is the first third down of the game. I thought he did a great job staying calm in the pocket, finding Dallin Bentley down the field. And then Utah comes back with a little quarterback power in the red zone for the first score of the night.
Be added on the end of the kick.
There was a penalty on that kickoff.
Correction number 15.
So our head referee, Kevin Marr, tonight of the Big 12 Conference, that is going to add 5 yards to the field position for the Utes, who start their second drive with 2:34 to go in this first quarter. We figure, I mean, the long drives, that could be a theme of this game, just considering the conditions, the style of offense Utah likes to play. No Sam Levitt for Arizona State. Dampier, play fake, is going to pass on first down, and over the middle, he threw it low, trying to hit Larry Simmons, incomplete.
Well, Utah's been so run heavy on first and second down this year. There's starting to be a common theme on the first play of the drive for the Utes. They're trying play action, trying to push the football down the field. Right now, Devin Dampier has not been able to connect on one of those throws, but I like what his offensive coordinator, Jason Beck, is trying to do to this ASU defense right now.
You got Bray coming on that fly sweep motion again, and you can see why they like that play. That's the second time they've done that in this game, and that gets them 10 yards and a first down.
Well, Utah, one thing that they're going to do with Jason Beck, they are going to attack every single blade of grass on a football field. They're going to run it dead ahead at you. They're also going to test the perimeter like you just saw there. That was an excellent job of Bray getting out to the side and using his speed.
You know, Utah had a bye week before this game. The game prior, they won in dominant fashion at West Virginia. And Bray late in that game with the score lopsided, he really popped in that game, made some plays. So I think we're going to see him more tonight. Handoff to Rogers for a short gain on first down. Well, the other thing about Dampier, you're talking about his effectiveness on the first drive and the way this Utah offense stresses the defense. He does look healthier. He was definitely banged up in the Texas Tech game that so many people saw, and where Utah just didn't play very well. The short pass and nice effort by Bray again with the catch and to fall forward for an extra couple of yards.
I think that's a really great point that you just made there. Devin Dampier is yet to be 100% healthy, and that's something that the coaching staff really stressed to us this week. When he came to Utah from New Mexico a season ago, he came with big-time expectations, and they said you were finally, for the first time, seeing a fully healthy Dampier.
They fake it to Bray and throw across the middle. That was not a good decision. Could have, maybe should have been intercepted by Adrian Wilson, who made a nice play on the ball, and Utah a big break that one wasn't picked off. Dampier's blaming somebody else.
Yeah, Dampier trying to ride a hard play action to get that secondary for ASU to bite up. But you have to give Boogie Wilson a lot of credit to staying home, read the quarterback's eyes, and he's there to almost make a game-changing play for the Sun Devils. I think Bentley did an excellent job of going from offense to defense and breaking up that potential interception.
I think you're right. Watching that replay, I think Bentley was the guy who gets that credit. So Utah will punt the ball back to Arizona State. That's a short punt, but it's going to take a favorable Utah bounce inside the 20 and roll all the way down to the 16-yard line. Well, next Saturday, we don't know yet what our ABC noon Eastern game is. Who the heck knows anything in college football these days? We do know 3:30 Eastern, SEC on ABC, Ole Miss at Georgia from Athens, and then Saturday Night Football on ABC presented by Capital One. Tennessee will go down to Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama. That's next Saturday. There are lots more good SEC games next weekend. We have had more chaos today in college football. It's not the exception, it's the norm.
It's never ending. It just seems like every Saturday you have a feeling who might win or lose, but it's just so unpredictable right now. So much parity.
Arizona State gets the ball for the second time. Final minute of quarter number 1. Sun Devils on the road in Salt Lake City. And Jeff Sims, their backup quarterback, having to play. Hands it off, and man, he almost handed it off to the Utes. That defensive lineman, John Henry Daly, was in the backfield to tackle Brown for a loss of 4.
Well, this is just a zone read scheme here with the guard pulling by ASU. But Sims, he's left in no man's land. If he pulls the football, the scheme by Morgan Scally, you can see 16 on your screen right there, Blake Cotton. He's there to make the play on the quarterback. That was an excellent defensive scheme by the Utes.
The final seconds of the quarter. Sims does get the play snapped. Almost looked like his teammates didn't think they were going to. And they hit Tyson, and that one goes backwards. Man, in this part of the field, the Sun Devils are going in the wrong direction. Corner run down and then have second down. Instead, they lose yardage. Everybody looks surprised. Now it's 3rd and 17. Sims is going to scramble, and there's nobody out there. Sims with a penalty flag back behind the play. Got close. But I think this one is going to be another penalty against ASU. And the referee's trying to get the word from Kyle Whittingham.
Holding number 58. The penalty's declined. Brings up 4th down.
So they decline the penalty.
It's on right tackle Max Ihanachor right here. He's working on Logan Fano, the all-conference defensive end, an excellent player himself. That is a tough task to deal with all night long, and you see the obvious hold, easy for the officials, and it negates a huge play for Jeff Sims.
I wonder if that was a tough decision for Kyle Whittingham. Maybe not. It's 4th down. You're going to punt the ball. If you take that penalty, ASU's got to snap it inside their own 5. It's wet. You get the backup quarterback out there, and a squib punt is going to work out okay. Man, I don't know if the punter slipped. Matt McKenzie, it sort of looked like he lost his footing there, but worked out all right for the Sun Devils. So Utah gets the ball back. Before they do, let's get into the studio for an update with Matt Barry. All right, thanks, Matt. So more SEC action, close games all over the place. Georgia Auburn is close. Game before us, if you're carried over from A&M in Florida. Nice win for the Aggies on a run play for Utah. Wayshawn Parker around the right side for a nice 1st down run.
It's a really nice run by the Utes. I like how they're using the tight end, 88, Dallin Bentley. He's had a great season playing that tight end position, 2nd on his team in receptions, but this time he's basically a fullback out of the backfield, delivers a great block, and that's what gets Parker to the outside.
Dampier handoff, left side run, and that's good enough. 1st down for a 1st down. That's Nakari Rogers with the carry.
It's a good physical run by Rogers. Rogers and Parker right now, they have a really good 1-2 punch going for this Utes football team. Parker a little more elusive, a little more breakaway speed, where Nakari Rogers, you saw how he finished that last play, really can deliver a blow.
Rogers again straight ahead. It was interesting talking to the longtime Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham this week about this offense. Then he hired Jason Beck. He brought this offense from New Mexico to Utah with the quarterback, so he knew what he was signing up for. But he did tell us, essentially, I'd like to see a little more north-south, a little more power run game from my team.
A little bit of power run game and then find some chunk plays. He said every series doesn't need to be a 12-play drive.
Dampier somehow got away, and now scrambling. He's going to throw on the move and throw it low and incomplete after all that. Just an incomplete pass to set up 3rd down. Man, Arizona State feeling like they missed an opportunity.
That was an excellent job of Dampier getting out of trouble. He really had nowhere to go with the football down the field. Credit that ASU secondary. He's able to get rid of that football to keep it 3rd and manageable.
Prince Dorba was the guy who had the chance to get him down for a big loss.
You have to assume here 3rd and 6 plus territory that this is 4-down territory. Don't be surprised if you see Utah try to run the football here with Dampier.
Yeah, kind of that same spot. Instead, they're going to give it again to that third back with the speed to the corner. Daniel Bray, who got shoved out of bounds maybe 2 yards short, maybe a yard. So we're going to test your theory. I assume Utah's going for it.
I like what Beck is doing with his speedster, Daniel Bray. This is a kid that ran a 10-3 100-meter dash in high school, trying to get him out to the perimeter. But this is Utah football at its finest. Kyle Whittingham, there is no doubt in my mind that he is telling Jason Beck right now on the headset, run this football downhill, and he's going to test this front seven for ASU.
There's no running back in the backfield. Bray motions. Dampier keeps it, and he'll get the first down and more inside the 35, down to the 33. First down, Utah.
Well, I tell you what, right now, this ASU front seven, they have no answer for the run game of Utah. You got to give a lot of credit to the big fellas up front for the need to find an answer for it.
A throw on first down from Dampier, and that's complete along the sideline. Tobias Merriweather with the catch, stopped maybe a yard short of a first down, but Devin Dampier looking very good in this first half for Utah. He grew up in Phoenix. He went to Saguaro High School, really not that far away from the campus of Arizona State. His high school head coach is now on staff at ASU. And Dampier, a guy that whole coaching staff very familiar with. He'll keep it on second down and short. Dampier to the end zone. Touchdown. Now, Kenny Dillingham said this week, you know what, I probably should have recruited him a little harder. And you watch him make that run and you think, yeah, he has turned into a really good player, and he looks healthy and the best version of himself in this first half.
I was just going to say, you think that kid's healthy right now? Wow, what a play by Devin Dampier. We knew how special of a runner he was with the football coming into this game tonight, but he is really putting it on display early on against the Sun Devils.
Extra point up and good. And so the Utah Utes, their second touchdown drive of the night.
Yeah, and it's all been on Dampier's legs, making multiple guys miss. And right now, this Utah offense is fully in control. To get the Longhorns back on track.
They've sort of lost their margin for error, but maybe don't count Texas out the way they look today in that game. Touchback after the Utah touchdown, and back to the studio with Matt Berry. They are looking like the best team right now in the Big 12. Thank you, Matt Berry. Been talking about Devin Dampier, by the way, from Saguaro High School, just outside of Tempe. You know who else is a Saguaro High alum?
I think we do. Is it Matt Berry?
It is. Look at old Matt wearing number 11.
I believe
in those high school days.
I believe the quote out of Matt was the original Scataboo. I don't know if I'm buying that out of Matt, but
Matt, what do you think?
Do those shoulder pads fit, Matt? I mean, come on now. Let's get those fitted up.
We love Matt.
I love it.
Proud Saguaro High. Great tradition of football there. Lots of high school state championships in the state of Arizona. Tyson with the catch. He got hit and stopped maybe a half-yard short. This is a big early play. And then Matt Berry, of course, went from Saguaro to ASU. A Sun Devil. His Sun Devils need this one. Down 14-3, third and a half a yard.
This is a massive third down early on in the football game. You cannot afford to punt the football back to Utah right now the way they're running it.
Haven't converted on third down yet. Raleek Brown, he got the carry and stumbles ahead for a first down. So that's a big one for ASU.
It was an excellent job at that left side of the offensive line. Left tackle Jalen Clem just completely collapsed that defensive front for the Utes. It was an easy pickup for Brown.
So First and 10 Sun Devils. Brown behind Sims in the backfield. Looks like Jalen Moss is out there. We mentioned how he might be healthy this week and on the field for the first time in many weeks for Arizona State. Play fake. Pressure was picked up. A long throw to make, though. And a penalty flag is going to be thrown. There was contact. McLean, the intended target. Smith-Snowden, the man in coverage. Fans are unhappy. Kenny Dillingham saying it was a hold. I think the reason he's arguing that is because you might argue it was uncatchable if it was a pass interference call. If it's a hold, then it would just be a hold.
Pass interference. Defense number 2. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Boy, I don't know if I agree with that one, Flem. It looked like Smith-Snowden played some pretty good coverage on the outside and didn't really affect Malik McLean or his route. You're going to see here, look at the bottom of your screen right there. That's McLean working on Smith-Snowden. I mean, there is no contact at this point, and watch it all the way through the play. Looks like a pretty clean play to me.
Almost no contact at all. So the Utah fans are incensed by that one. Snowden didn't know what was going on. This is the same referee. I don't know if it's the same full crew that was here last year for the BYU game, which was full of officiating controversy. Udo with the straight ahead run. Some power football from Arizona State when they've wanted to, and the boos are still raining down from these Utah fans. Maybe they remember that night a year ago. 2nd and 5 coming up for Arizona State. You and I saw the Sun Devils come to life in a second half down in Starkville, Mississippi early this year when not a lot was going right for them, and they did it with the ground game.
Well, that's really been the story of this football team all season long. This is an offense that notoriously has been starting off really slow in football games. Defense keeps them in it, and then they pick it up in the second half.
A little swing pass out to the right. The quick catch and turn upfield. That is Jalen Moss. Got tackled a couple yards short of a first down.
All right, and here's the chess match, right? You have Morgan Scalley going against offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo. You're in plus territory. You have to assume that this is 4-down territory for the Sun Devils. So if I'm Marcus Arroyo here, the way Scalley has been dialing up pressures early on in this football game, I'm going to try to block up those pressures right now and try to take a shot downfield if Utah presents man coverage, knowing I still have 4th down to get a fresh set of downs.
Miserable conditions. Instead, they're going to straight ahead run it, and just some plain power football to get the first down.
It's about the opposite of taking a shot down the field. But hey, when it's raining this hard, you're on turf, so you're not really going to get the double move that you would typically get in a weather game like this where the defensive back is at a disadvantage. I like that call. Just get a fresh set of downs. And now Jeff Sims gets to go to work in plus territory.
A few big stories tonight in a very important game of the Big 12. If you're just flipping over after Georgia finishes off Auburn, a very dramatic game down on the Plains. Jeff Sims starting his big story. No Sam Levitt tonight for Arizona State, their All-American candidate quarterback. Utah's ground game has been very impressive.
Utah is doing an excellent job playing the zone read. Watch how the defensive end takes the back, and then you have the linebacker there to take the quarterback. This is making it really, really difficult on ASU to run the zone read schemes that they want. Jeff Sims does a good job of finding some positive yards, but Morgan Scalley right now has a really good plan for the zone read schemes.
Sun Devils are going to need a counter without their top line quarterback. Critical game in conference play. We've started in week 7 to see some separation in the Big 12. That's Jackson Benny, who's been a two-way player, a safety and a wide receiver for Utah, gets up. That's a good sign.
That's a great sign if you're a Utah fan, because you're already down a safety in Nate Ritchie and Rabbit Evans. This secondary is getting thinner by the week. So Jackson Benny is somebody that's already moved from nickel to safety this game. You need to get him back out there on the field.
So far, Arizona State has not been able to make Morgan Scalley. There's the defensive coordinator, longtime Utes DC, and that thin secondary pay for their lack of bodies. The pass game has not really been there. Jeff Sims has thrown for 25 yards.
I tell you what, Morgan Scalley's doing some really good stuff right now. He's showing pre-snap man coverage, rocking back to zone. Then he's bringing pressure on different snaps. I just showed how they're playing the run game. He has a really good plan right now for the Utes. I can't wait to see how Marcus Arroyo counters.
8th play of the drive coming up for Arizona State. It's a low possession game so far. Both teams mostly using the ground game. A nice catch by the All-American wideout Jordan Tyson. Used his hands there to secure it and gets some positive yardage. It'll be 3rd down.
I'll tell you what, that was a really good job of Utah rallying to that tackle, because the way Utah was playing their defense there, they were bringing an all-out pressure. If Tyson was able to make 1 or 2 guys miss, that was going to be a house call. Great job by the Utes getting Tyson on the ground.
And he has 4 catches already in this game, but only 14 yards.
Yeah, Utah's done a really good job of limiting him. Right now, you're going to see Jordan Tyson at the bottom of your screen against man coverage.
Play clock winding down. Udo in the backfield. Sims is going to keep it, makes a cut, and takes a big hit. I don't know. He got close on 3rd down. Maybe stopped a half a yard short. I think that's how they're going to spot him. So another 4th down coming up, and I'm sure another spot where the Sun Devils are going for it.
Yeah, without a doubt. Kenny Dillingham's not going to hesitate here. Bringing an extra tight end on the field right now to get into 12 personnel. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and a back. You got to expect this to either be a downhill run, or you're going to get quarterback Jeff Sims under center and just try to pick it up with a quarterback sneak with his 6'4" frame.
He's going to sneak it again, and for the 2nd time on this drive, he will get enough for an Arizona State 1st down.
Really nice pickup by the Sun Devils, and this is a really good drive. They're chewing up a bunch of clock here, and this is the game that Kenny Dillingham wants to play. He wants to play ball control, as does Kyle Whittingham. These are 2 teams that are number 1 and 2 in the conference when it comes to time of possession. So the way the Sun Devils are controlling the football in this drive, this is exactly how Kenny Dillingham wants to play the football game.
So 1st down for Sims with Brown behind him. And Sims will keep it. Nice decision there to get deeper into Utah territory. That's a gain of 12 and a 1st down. We had that shot of Sam Levitt on the sideline, and Stormy, he and Sims have been communicating a lot in this 1st half.
Yes, Kenny Dillingham told us, you know, how much Sam Levitt wished that he could be out here on the field, but he's been the ultimate teammate supporting Jeff Sims. He's had the earpiece in, he's been wiping down the benches for him, even helping warm up his arm on the sideline, because they've had some issues with the heated benches over there.
All right, Stormy, being a good teammate despite the fact that he wants to be out there and can't be. The outstanding quarterback for Arizona State. Handoff to Brown on 1st down, short game.
Well, you know it's just killing Sam Levitt to not be out there. He is the ultimate competitor, even to the point where Kenny Dillingham told us this week, he said, listen, I'm not going to be surprised if Sam plays, but I feel like I have to protect him from himself. He wants to be out there for his teammates, but I just think I have to do what's in the best interest of that young man.
You can't see it in that shot, but he's got the boot on his foot. Brown in the backfield, 2nd down and about 8 for the Sun Devils inside the 20. And Sims hands it off to Brown, who makes 1 man miss, try to spin move, and then just gets gang tackled by Utah. That was a lot of effort to get maybe a couple yards.
I'll tell you what, Raleek Brown will make the first one miss more times than not. It's one of his superpowers, but you got to give a lot of credit to Utah. The cavalry was coming, the way they pursued the football, it's a thing of beauty to watch. And right here, you have a massive 3rd down for the Sun Devils. Desperately trying to get into the end zone here to tighten up this football game. Don't want to settle for a field goal. The question is, where is Jordan Tyson? And right now, he's playing in the slot, going in motion from the top of your screen down to the bottom. He's in man coverage. Can Jeff Sims get him the football?
Sims from the shotgun, has time. Headed for the end zone, trying to hit Tyson, incomplete. He threw it too high. I think Tyson generated a little separation there. but it's incomplete. It's 4th down, and the field goal team's coming out.
I tell you what, that's really, really good coverage by Smith Snowden, number 2 right there. That is 2 really good players going at it tonight. That is going to be a fun matchup to watch unfold. And Sims knows that was an errant throw. He's got to get it out front. And Flem said it earlier tonight, if you just give Jordan Tyson a chance, more times than not, he's going to bring that football in.
He's made some of the most acrobatic catches of any player in the country. Jesus Gomez for his 2nd field goal try from 29 yards, and it's blocked. Well, nothing about that looks smooth, and Utah blocks the field goal try after all that. I mean, you're talking 8.5 minutes of holding the ball, and they get nothing. Not a good snap, and Jackson Benny, the guy who got his hands on it.
Well, an errant snap leads to a blocked field goal. Utah Utes bending, but will not break. Devin Dampier with the football.
The hit has been nasty outside, and yet here they are on the first play from scrimmage for this drive for Utah after a blocked field goal try. Devin Dampier, man, he has been running all over the Sun Devils in this first half.
Well, you have to think he's playing with a big-time chip on his shoulder tonight. We mentioned a Saguaro High School product there in the Scottsdale area, right down the street from Arizona State. And none of the local schools, Arizona State, Arizona, none of those schools recruited him. Tonight is his chance to get back at that team, and he's certainly playing like it.
Right down the road, won a state championship, put up great numbers in high school. Didn't really get recruited by either of those in-state schools. Let's go down to Stormy.
And Devin Dampier actually told me it's not just ASU. He threw in front of just about every team he felt like in the country, and nobody really wanted him. So he has a lot to prove, guys.
And looking very spry again. Out into the open, cuts it back middle. Made another man miss and got into Arizona State territory. He's doing it all tonight.
I tell you what, he's looking like Superman out there. And this was really the question coming into the ball game. We knew how talented Utah was at running the football. They lead the conference, and right now ASU has no answers.
Yeah, no answer. 2-minute timeout. Utes on the move again, controlling this first half. I'm talking about Devin Dampier, who played his high school ball just up the road from Arizona State. His high school coach is now on Kenny's staff. That's the Coach Mons he was referring to. And Dampier completes another pass. He and the Utah offense just doing whatever they want in this first half.
They really are. They've been fully in control of this football game since the get-go. But if I'm Utah right here, I'm really going to slow things down. You have 2 timeouts, plenty of time. The last thing you want to do is score and give ASU an opportunity to get points before the half.
Dampier was trying to set that up and was very patient. And look at Dampier with the power burst. He ran through a couple different tackle attempts.
Are you kidding me? I mean, that is unbelievable. There's no play to be had there, but Devin Dampier will not be denied. It was just set up to be a little bit of a quarterback delay draw, and he makes something out of nothing. Very impressive run by Devin Dampier.
What was that? 3 broken tackles on one play. Now the officials stop things. I think we have a problem with the chains over on that far sideline, the Utah sideline. They couldn't get the first down mark set up. Hey, we still got some analog in college football. Got the old school chain. Got to get it untangled.
Yeah, and once again, if I'm Utah here, I'm going to let that play clock run down and really try to melt some clock here. ASU gets the football to start the 3rd quarter. I don't want to give them an opportunity for points here.
Left side run, big hole, the cutback, and touchdown. Nakari Rogers from 22 yards out. Well, the ground game for Utah has not looked this good in a long time. This is Utah football. All those years under Kyle Whittingham, and the last 2 seasons, we just haven't seen a lot of it. All the quarterback issues tonight. This looks more like it from, I'm sure, Whittingham's perspective. Extra point is up and good. Wow.
That's right, Flem. Ground and pound, play good defense. Utah hitting on all cylinders. I'm going to go back to this last play. Watch Togiai right here work up to the second level, and then receiver Ryan Davis out here is going to make a massive block for their running back, Nakari Rogers, to spring him free for the touchdown. Excellent block by Davis down the field right there on Rouser, number 4. You see that. Just being able to sustain the block. That is big league stuff by the wide receiver transfer from New Mexico.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out. That would have been a nice run and a gain of probably 10 yards or so. It would not have been a touchdown run without the efforts of the wideout. Doing that blocking there. 21-3 Utah. They only took 6 plays. They went 75 yards, 71 of the 75 on the ground. So they went down the field that quickly without having to throw the ball.
Listen, that was the big question coming into this game. Utah, the #1 rushing offense in the Big 12, 245 yards per game, going against the second best rush defense in the Big 12 in ASU, holding opponents under 80 per game. Right now, Utah already has 183 yards rushing in the first half alone. Utah completely winning that matchup.
No kidding. Kick return here for the Sun Devils out to the 25-yard line. Well, tomorrow we've got Sunday NFL Countdown for you before the Chiefs and the Lions, which is a big game tomorrow. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce go all access with Jason Kelce. That'll be fun. Baker Mayfield, he's become a big story again this year. Randy's best catches of the week. You got Moss, so all that. Plus, then 2 Monday night games in Atlanta. Josh Allen on the road to take on the Falcons and the Bears and the Commanders. 2 Heisman Trophy winners.
Well, we'll see how much trust Kenny Dillingham has in his backup quarterback, Jeff Sims, here. Under a minute, 2 timeouts to go, plenty of time to go get points.
That pass is going to be caught, and Tyson will be shoved out of bounds. One thing he doesn't have is Cam Scatteraboo this year. So the Sun Devil star from last season has certainly made his mark with the Giants. You got Devin Lloyd, who made the big play on Monday Night Football, a former Utes defender. Big-time NFL performances this past week. Neither guy on the field obviously here. Pressure comes. Sims throws into coverage, incomplete. And so the clock stops. 49 seconds to go. 3rd and 5 here toward the end of the first half.
Jeff Sims is going to kick himself tomorrow when he watches the film. He had a wide open receiver running down the field for a touchdown. Morgan Scalley once again brought pressure by the Utes defense, and there was a bust in their secondary. Missed opportunity for Jeff Sims. We'll see if he can get it back here with Jordan Tyson playing in the slot at the top of your screen in the yellow cleats.
Utah, it's not really in their DNA to go prevent style on defense. That pass whistled in there to Tyson, and that's good enough for a first down. So inside 2 minutes for now, that'll stop the clock. ASU does have 2 timeouts.
Yeah, ASU needs to get back on the ball and snap this. No reason to burn a timeout here with everyone so close to the line of scrimmage.
But you got to go. Precious seconds ticking away. Sims in the pocket. He's going to throw short, and that's Brown, who cuts it back to the left, then goes middle. And he'll get, I think, another first down. Kenny Dillingham isn't going to wait and find out. He's just going to call the timeout. That play took a long time to get 10 yards.
Yeah, but that was a really good decision by Jeff Sims. Morgan Scalley elects to play some zone coverage rather than bringing man pressure like he typically does. Nowhere to go with the football down the field. Jeff Sims, great recognition to check that down to the back. And Raleek Brown did an excellent job of picking up some positive yards.
So you got 25 seconds. You have 1 more timeout. ASU still on their side of the field, close to midfield. I mean, the field goal operation hasn't looked all that good with the adverse weather conditions tonight, but they still need 25 yards, you would think, to be in realistic field goal range.
Well, the operation tonight has not been good, but prior to this game, this has been a pretty good field goal kicking unit. And for Jesus Gomez, I really feel like with the way the wind has died down, I'm looking at the flags right now, they're not even blowing. If you can just get to maybe the 35, 36, 37-yard line, you will have a chance before the half at 3 points.
So 15-plus yards to at least have a shot for something positive. ASU does get the ball to start the second half. Sims pressured. Sims steps up. He's going to scramble. Sims with a penalty flag behind the play. That's going to be a killer in the neighborhood where you expect holding inside the 45. For now, it was a good game.
Holding. Offense number 53. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So it takes the time off the clock. You're down to 18 seconds, and you go backwards.
Well, that's left tackle Josh Atkins. And I tell you what, these offensive tackles for ASU, they have a tall task ahead of them tonight. That's him working on John Henry Daly, who leads the Big 12 with 6.5 sacks on the season. These offensive tackles right now, they have a big challenge ahead of them.
And that wasn't real subtle. That was a full-on hug.
And I think Kenny Dillingham is at this point good just going in the locker room at half, down 18 points.
Yeah, pressure's coming. They're going to throw to Tyson over the top, incomplete, with some contested coverage there, and the clock goes down to 0. So that will be the final play. And Utes fans that Kyle Whittingham was hoping for when Dampier came here, where the offensive coordinator came over, Jason Beck. This is the best they've looked all year. That'll be a touchback, and Arizona State will have the ball. Let's go down on the field to Stormy Bonatoso.
Well, I spoke to Kenny Dillingham a moment ago, and he said, look, we have been through this before. We've been down in games and addressed the muscle memory they had against both Mississippi State and TCU to dig themselves out of a hole. But that when all is said and done, they need to score some points. And said they've had long drives, but haven't been able to finish them. So finishing drives and stopping the run, priorities 1 and 2 here in the second half.
And that is true, although they only had 115 total yards in that first half. They did have some chance for more points. Sims tried to scramble on the first play from scrimmage, and that's Logan Fano, who himself has gotten healthier, like his quarterback, and he gets Sims to the ground.
Yeah, Logan Fano is such a special player, and he had a monster first half along with his co-partner John Henry Daly, the other defensive end. Arizona State has to find an answer for those two edge players.
Yeah, we expected a better performance up front by Arizona State. They've been a power running kind of team at times this year. Raleek Brown, who you don't think of as that kind of back, but he's got so much elusiveness. Raleek Brown with a nice carry for 5 yards, and right away Sun Devils face a third down.
Well, that's a really nice job on second down to make this a manageable third down for your backup quarterback, Jeff Sims. If I'm Marcus Arroyo in this situation, Jordan Tyson is yet to get loose. I'm looking elsewhere. My tight end at the top of the screen, Shimon Mateer, or the running back, Raleek Brown, who just released from the backfield, are great man-to-man matchups.
So you got two guys on that side of the field. Sims is looking that way, and he'll throw, but he throws low. Well, he was going for the guy that you just brought up, Mateer, who is an excellent receiving tight end, but that pass, he had no chance. It's fourth down.
I really think Shimon Mateer could be an X factor in this football game in man coverage. He's being covered by Te'o Johnson, the strong safety, and you can see there's a little bit of separation there, but Jeff Sims is just not able to deliver an accurate football.
Yeah, and if you're just tuning in, Sam Levitt, the starter, not available tonight with a foot injury. He's out, and Sims, who's got a lot of playing experience over many years in college football, but has not been able to get that pass game going at all. A low punt and a fair catch signal made by Carvalho. So Utah will have the ball for the first time in the second half. And maybe the bigger question for ASU, they got to get their offense going, but they also have to figure out a way to slow down the incredible run attack we saw from Utah in the first half. Devin Dampier had 87 yards on the ground himself. He averaged 12.5 yards a carry, had 2 touchdown rushes. He hardly had to throw the ball at all. His backs got involved. Rodgers with a touchdown run. We saw some good runs from Parker as well.
I mean, we knew he was talented coming into this ball game. This is a kid that rushed for over 1,000 yards a season ago, but ASU has just had 0 answers with their front 7.
Yeah, really haven't. That's one of the best plays that they've made on defense all game. Miles Rouser, who typically is a big playmaker for the Sun Devils, came up from his safety position to make the tackle for a loss of a yard. So the first drive of the second half for Utah. Dampier gonna scramble around in the pocket, buy some time, wide open downfield, and he finds Ryan Davis, who tried to cut it to the sideline. He gets tripped up inside the 15-yard line. Javen Robinson finally got him to the turf. Man, it's hard to be more open than Ryan Davis was there. That's a gain of 56 yards.
Well, that was an excellent route by Ryan Davis on the outside. You're going to see him work a little double move, a little short in and go. But that complemented with the excellent pass protection by that Utah offensive line is what gave Devin Dampier time to push the ball down the field.
Yeah, I think that offensive line, that has been a big part of the story. We know the pedigree of those guys up front for Utah. You get 2 potential first-round draft picks at the tackle spots for the Utes. They just haven't maybe dominated this year quite the way that folks were expecting them to. Tonight, they look dominant.
Completely dominant, and now you know why. Between Caleb Lomu and Spencer Fanu, great chance both of those guys go in the top 20 picks this year.
Dampier throws kind of a heave, and it's intercepted. Now, penalty flag was thrown, and Rouser's going to return this one. He's going to go out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. It could be that Rouser's going to get called for a penalty. He pushed off there to create some separation. And that was not Devin Dampier's #1 decision of the night. Maybe he's going to get away with it with a penalty flag.
I don't know. There was a pretty clear shove by Rouser on the tight end Bentley right in front of the official.
Defense number 4. That penalty occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
Well, Dallin Bentley, who's had an excellent season for the Utes, 22 receptions, 3 touchdowns. You see the clear-cut push by Rouser to create that separation right in the back of Bentley. That is just too easy for the officials.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll let you get away with some stuff, but not that. That's a huge one. So instead of a turnover, it's 1st and goal Utah inside the 3. Wayshawn Parker is going to be the back, but Dampier's going to run up under center and take the snap. He's going to pitch it to Parker, made a man miss, broke another tackle, and did all that just to get back to the line of scrimmage. We haven't seen a play that has looked like that yet in this game until now. 2nd and goal coming up for the Utes after they forced the punt from Arizona State, looking to add to what is already a significant lead. The Sun Devils are not as equipped tonight to come from behind as they would be otherwise with their starting quarterback. Extra big bodies coming in for Utah. Power formation. You got about as many big guys out there as you can. Dampier, a late pitch, wide open, and a walk into the end zone for Nakari Rogers. Touchdown, Utah. More of the same in this early second half from what we saw in the first half from Utah. They just went right down the field. This time a little more mix of pass and run, but in the end, it was that powerful Utah ground game.
How good has Devin Dampier been tonight? Just a little speed option. Ends up actually pitching it with his left hand, not his right. Just putting on an absolute show here tonight in Salt Lake.
That was kind of an improv play. Extra point is up and good. Well, the passing game with Dampier, the protection was great. Davis got wide open, so that got Utah down into scoring position. And then the play that Brock was talking about. Which hand? Yeah, shove it with the left hand. Why not? Rogers, touchdown, Utes. Year that Utah has played in the Big 12. Tonight would be their first home conference win since joining the league. They are 0-5 at home. This place, which for years has been one of the great home field advantages in all of college football, and they're up 28-3. Arizona State will get the ball back, and that means our player spotlight brought to you by Royal Caribbean. Matt Everett playing. He's got a chance to be drafted. He's the right tackle. He wears number 58. He is a really good player. Problem for him and Sims and the entire ASU offense, they just have not gotten much going tonight. Let's go down to Stormy.
Well, Max told me that when his coach at the local community college suggested playing offensive line, he was not about it at all. He was a former basketball player. He was looking up highlights for tight ends and defensive ends. When he suggested O-line, he said, "Excuse me, you want me to gain how much weight? That position doesn't look like any fun." He said no like 3 times before he said yes.
That's good stuff, Stormy, but you know what? He'll be having fun when he hears his name called in the upcoming NFL draft.
I think that's the ultimate good point there, because he is going to get drafted. I mean, he's put enough good football on tape. Malik Brown with a nice carry left side, where Ihanachor's got a real chance to play at the next level. 6'6", 330. He definitely put on the weight in the right way.
Mountain of a man.
He is a big dude. A lot of those former basketball players, yeah, you got to convince them and do a lot of convincing to play in the trenches. You're not getting a lot of shots at offensive line. Pressure comes, picked up at least for a moment. Now Sims trying to get to the corner, and he sort of did. Logan Fano, that was good pursuit by the defensive end. Now Sims gets up a little gimpy. Arizona State cannot have that.
No, cannot afford their backup quarterback to go down. But I tell you what, you got to give a lot of credit to this Utah defense tonight. They have just been so relentless. And what Morgan Scalley and his game plan, what he's put together for the Utes tonight, ASU has just had no answers.
Yeah, without their starting quarterback. Now, we don't know whether Sam Levitt, this is a short-term thing, whether he's going to miss a few weeks. He's got the boot on the sideline tonight. But there is no quarterback depth of note behind Sims. That's a nice delivery to Malik McClain into Utah territory, and good enough for an Arizona State first down. This was pregame. We were watching it. This week we were sort of wondering, well, maybe is he going to give it a go? When he came out with the boot on, we knew there was no chance tonight for Sam Levitt to play. He was throwing the ball around with the boot on.
Yeah, and you really have to appreciate Sam Levitt's competitive spirit. He wanted to be out there tonight, but his head coach, Kenny Dillingham, told us this week, I have to protect the young man from himself. It's in his best interest to rest that foot another week.
Play fake for Sims across the middle, and that one is intercepted. We're waiting for a call. Did he actually catch it? No. It hit the turf, so not an interception. Jackson Benny.
Rolling on the field, it was an incomplete pass at second down.
So ruled an incompletion. Oh, so close.
Well, that's Jeff Sims just trying to force the ball to Jordan Tyson. He doesn't see the strong safety, Teo Johnson, number 5, right in the middle of your screen, who Tyson stumbled over. That's just forcing the ball in a place that it doesn't need to go.
They got lucky there. Brown gets the carry around the left edge, and he gets forced out of bounds. Short gain to set up third down. Well, Arizona State, some of the story, you heard Stormy, you talked to Kenny Dillingham at halftime. Part of the story of the first half was ASU would get to this part of the field and then just could not turn their drives into points.
Yeah, if I'm Marcus Arroyo, I am expecting Utah to bring some sort of pressure here. So I'm looking either screen game right now or some sort of quick throw to get this football out of my quarterback's hands.
Utah, meanwhile, is going to substitute. As that play clock wind downs, they're allowed to substitute. And now they jumped. Well, that ASU is the team with the pressure on it, because you have to wait by rule. And it was all the way down to the end of the play clock.
False start.
And it turns out that the Sun Devils were the team that moved early.
5-yard penalty.
When you substitute on offense, the officials give the defense a chance to sub themselves. And it doesn't matter if that play clock is winding down. And so the false start by Obibo.
See the play clock winding down, and there's the left guard, Obibo. Just moves before the football snapped. And you saw what Morgan Scalley was trying to do. He was going to bring pressure, Grant, to force Jeff Sims into making a quick decision. These penalties just continue to kill the Sun Devils tonight.
Yeah, they've had some big ones. Pressure coming. Sims on 3rd and long, trying to get away. Sims will scramble and did not go out of bounds. Jeff Sims Well, there's the athleticism. You think back all those years ago when he first burst on the scene as a starting quarterback at Georgia Tech. Back in 2020, seems like forever ago, we saw a lot of plays that looked like this.
I tell you what, Jeff Sims, what a play. Big athletic guy, 6'4", 220 pounds, and he can make you miss. What a great individual effort.
On 3rd and long, he got 20. Brown now carries. The Hanachur was lead the way. Then the ball came out at the end of that play. The officials did not signal that it was down. Sort of for a moment, it looked like he was down. Now they're going to blow the clock dead and try to sort this out. They're pointing Utah's way. They say fumble and turnover. So again, the Sun Devils move the ball. Raleek Brown.
On the field was the runner was down. First down, Utah.
Oh, well, wait a minute. The one official pointed to the Utes, and now we just got the announcement that the runner was down. So I'm confused.
The previous play is under further review. Ruling on the field was a fumble.
The head referee just announced the ruling on the field as the runner is down. That's close. His knee was starting to come down. It was close, but then that ball was moving. One official pointed Utah ball. I don't know. We're trying to get a view. I think maybe he was down. We have our rules expert, Matt Austin, who has stayed up late night with us. Yeah, now that shot right there, Matt, I would think that shot right there would confirm that he was down. What do you think?
I agree 100%. Left knee looks like it's on the ground. Ball still in his possession. Now it comes out. I think this should be ruled runner down.
Okay. We appreciate Matt's efforts. I mean, he was on the first game of the day, and here he is the last game of the night. He also was very busy at the end of the first half of the Georgia-Auburn game. We heard a lot of Matt.
Wasn't that a finish to the second quarter? Oh, my goodness.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that.
Was that a 25-minute final 2 minutes?
That knee down. He still has the ball there. So I think in the end, the referee did say ruling on the field runner down, even though that one official had pointed in Utah's direction. That got the whole celebration started for the Utes defense. They started sprinting off the field and celebrating a turnover. But then the official announcement from the referee was ruling on the field was down. So I know our graphic is saying fumble, but I'm just going off what Kevin Mars said. He said ruling on the field runner down, unless I misheard that.
You're right, Fleming. And right now, the first down markers are showing first down Arizona State.
Yeah. So that's what the officials are checking here. You got the pen and paper out. And, Matt, I guess that is, you got some details to work out. What's the time on the clock? Where is the ball going to be spotted? Sometimes you need a little cheat sheet.
Yeah, when you start writing, that usually means they're going to overturn the ruling on the field.
Okay, we'll see. There was a lot of writing going on. Well, it's a big call. If ASU has any chance to come from behind in this game, they can't turn the ball over here. This was taking a little longer than I thought. That one shot, I thought it looked to me like runner down, Arizona State ball.
That's what I thought too, Flem. But you're right. This is a gotta-have-it situation for the Sun Devils. They desperately need to retain possession of this football.
Oh, we got the headset going back on. Oh, so we're not done yet. And now we got a little impatience in the stands. Got to get it right, though.
After further review, it was determined that the ball carrier's knee was down. It'll be second down from the 19-yard line.
All right. So and maybe I misheard. I thought he came on the microphone and said the initial ruling was turnover Utah ball. Then I thought the announcement was runner was down. And maybe we just misheard that in the chaos of the play. I think in the end they got it right.
Arizona State, they have to take advantage of the man coverage that Utah is playing right now down here in the red zone.
So second down and short. It'll be Sims with Udo, who is the running back, almost acting like a fullback lead blocker. And Sims, I think, the spot is going to say plenty enough for an ASU first down.
And some good hard running inside by the quarterback, Jeff Sims. 220 pounds. When he gets running downhill, he can definitely pick up a couple yards for you.
I mean, part of the rest of this game to me, Brock, is for Arizona State. They got to find some stuff that works for Jeff Sims if he's got to play another game or two or whatever. Even if you don't come back and win this one. Handoff, and man, the defense was in the backfield. Brown, just great individual effort to get out of there and make something out of absolutely nothing. Raleek Brown is a dynamic ball carrier.
Well, Raleek Brown had nowhere to go with the football. You're going to see a corner blitz by number 2, Smith Snowden, at the bottom of your screen, but Brown is able to make him miss and actually pick up some positive yards to make this a 2nd and 5.
That was an impressive 5-yard run. Sims and Brown play fake, going over the top towards Tyson, and a one-handed attempt, but incomplete.
Boy, that was a great throw outside by Jeff Sims, giving his All-American wide receiver an opportunity to go up against Blake Cotton and try to make a play on the football. Great effort by Tyson, but just outside of his reach.
Almost looked like he landed on that left hand, trying to make that one-handed catch. He came up sort of shaking it a little bit.
So if I'm Jeff Sims here in this situation on 3rd down, I'm expecting Morgan Scalley to bring in all-out pressure to try to speed up my processing clock. Jeff Sims needs to have a quick answer with the football.
He's got Brown to his left on 3rd down from inside the 15. Here comes the pressure. He does get rid of it quickly. That's Tyson, who gets tackled short by about a yard. So he had that answer, but Utah forces a 4th down and 1 and go for it situation for ASU.
Yeah, without question, Arizona State needs points desperately. Touchdowns, not field goals. Question here, 4th and short throughout the game. It's always been quarterback sneak with Jeff Sims. At this point, do they try to get this football outside with Utah thinking another quarterback sneak?
Well, they've got Sims lined up like they're going to do it again. We'll see. And everybody moved. Utah shifted, then ASU jumped. And it might not be 3rd and short any longer, although the officials are talking about this one. That might be one of those moves by the defensive line that can be called as a procedure penalty on the defense. That was close.
Delay a game. Defense.
Wow.
Number 95. Half the distance to the goal. Correction. That 5-yard penalty will be enough for a 1st down.
Any quick, exaggerated, abrupt movements by a defensive front that simulates the start of a play is going to be called for delay of game. I think that is a really good call by the officials because it was clear that Utah was trying to draw ASU offsides.
It worked until it didn't. Now on a little end around give into the end zone. Tyson, touchdown. Now Arizona State gets their first touchdown of the night. Another long drive, 13 plays, 6.5 minutes, and finally the Sun Devils are in the end zone.
Well, this is what I was saying. Arizona State continues to try to hit the football inside. You have to get the football to the perimeter at some point. Jordan Tyson does an excellent job with the stiff arm, getting the Sun Devils into the end zone on the end around.
Whether he's catching it, whether he's running it, just a little one-on-one with Jordan Tyson is usually a pretty good thing. Extra point is up and good. Now the fans are cranky. They didn't like the penalty that gave it 1st and goal for ASU.
I tell you what, don't count the Sun Devils out just yet. This ball club has made a deal being the comeback kids all year long.
That is a fact. Chaos of last year with the quarterback unavailable, and they just didn't have enough options at that position. They feel like they've solved that, and ASU's going to squib kick that one. That was interesting. After their first touchdown of the night, Utah's going to start around the 35-yard line.
Flem, I think they were trying to kick that football almost like a surprise onside kick and hit one of those front line defenders for Utah. It almost worked. It just nicked the kid.
So there's a couple different styles of onside kick. more traditional, or you could just try to nail that up guy, and then maybe it takes a weird bounce and you scoop it up.
That's right. You saw 19. He had to dodge it. Charlie Regal, special teams coordinator for Arizona State, trying to get one.
Yeah, I don't mind that idea. Oh, 2 broken tackles instead of a loss of yardage. Daniel Bray, he has flashed tonight. They have a playmaker in this young freshman, Daniel Bray. That's a nice gain on first down. He got a first down.
They certainly do. This true freshman has some wiggle to him. You can see his game-breaking speed. Ran a 10.300 in high school. Great addition to this Utah offense.
They told us, hey, you might see a little more of him this week. We sure have. Dampier down the sideline, incomplete. Trying to hit Merriweather. There was some contact, no flags thrown.
And that's really the one thing that has yet to get going for this Utah offense. They had the one big pass play down the field tonight to Ryan Davis, but outside of that play, this Utah offense has really kind of been dink and dunk. It's the underneath possession type throws, and then obviously it's this elite run game. Devin Dampier not able to connect down the field.
Kyle Whittingham was emphatic when we asked him about that. We have to be able to generate some bigger plays on offense to really be the team we want to be. Dampier cuts it back middle, but just got swallowed up. A gain of 2, now 3rd and long coming up. Utah has mostly avoided these kind of situations tonight.
And this is the opportunity the Arizona State defense needs. They're down 3 possessions. Obvious passing situation here by Utah. Prince Dorba, who's at the top of your screen 2 weeks ago, had 3 sacks against TCU.
They blocked him beautifully here. Gave Dampier time to find his tight end. Bentley with the catch. That's a first down, Utah into Arizona State territory.
Boy, I don't care how good your pass rush is coming into a game. When you're playing this Utah offensive front, you better bring it, because this offensive line, they have been absolutely elite tonight. Look at that protection for their quarterback, Devin Dampier. Not a single Sun Devil around the quarterback.
I mean, this is a defense that came in top 5 in the country in sacks. Bray gets another touch, breaks another tackle, cuts it back, and finally is going to be hit and driven backwards, but 8 more yards on the ground for Daniel Bray. He's going to be a bigger part of this offense going forward. There's no doubt about that.
He certainly is. And early on in the season for the Utes, Kyle Whittingham was using a lot of his really good defensive players, Smith, Snowden, and others, Jackson Benny, trying to spark this offense a little bit. But the way they have Daniel Bray going tonight, I think they might have found their answer.
Could be. They don't have to do as much of that two-way stuff if Bray is going to be this kind of dynamo out of the backfield. 2nd down and short. Officials holding up Utah, and now that's a delay of game. If you substitute late, the defense gets a chance to counter, and there's nothing you could do about it unless you call a timeout, and maybe they did.
First charge timeout.
So they avoided the flag got thrown, but no penalty. Timeout Utah. Back to Salt Lake City right after this. In the mountains. The wild storm we had before the game. Dampier out into the open. Devin Dampier, another big run for Utah. He has just gashed Arizona State on the ground. That puts him over 100 yards for the night on just 9 official carries.
Dampier has just been unstoppable, but you have to give so much credit to his offensive line. Look how far they moved the defensive front for Arizona State down the field. Dampier makes guys miss, but I tell you what, the combination of Devin Dampier and this offensive line, it's something special.
Handoff right side, and Parker did not have as much room that time. Keyshawn Elliott. Now fighting at the end of that play. Penalty flags thrown, not at least that I can see. So we got things sorted out. And it'll be 2nd down coming up for Utah. They can get a first down inside the 2-yard line. Final minute of this 3rd quarter. Trying to answer the touchdown for ASU. Another late substitution. And they're giving Arizona State a chance to sub again. I mean, this is happening way too much. And Utah has to burn another timeout.
30-second timeout.
That is not going to make the head coach very happy, I wouldn't think.
Offensively, if you're going to sub, you need to do it right away because, to your point, you've made it multiple times, Flem, the defense gets an opportunity to match. So if you do it late in the play clock, it's going to lead to a delay of game more times than not.
So timeout for Utah, and the head coach is a little cranky about that. While we have a moment, a quick word from Arby's.
Before you are Arby's new steak nuggets. It is a perfect piece of steak that is then cut up into nuggets. How has no one done this before?
Arby's, we have the meats.
28-10 Utah, final minute of the third quarter. You know, we've seen this issue across college football a lot, and we've talked to Matt Austin before about it. And as long as the defense isn't dogging it and milking the clock and deliberately taking extra time to get off the field, they're not in the wrong on those kind of plays. Dampier keeps it, cuts back middle. Dampier, touchdown! They never got him to the ground. Man, has he been awesome tonight. His third touchdown run. Arizona State just has not been able to tackle him. 34-10 Utah. And maybe the score that is going to put this game away. 45 seconds still to go in the third quarter, but the Utes on offense look unstoppable right now. Just incredible individual effort. All that great blocking, and that's been a theme of this game, but it's also been Devin Dampier.
Well, I said it earlier in the ball game. This is like facing the triple option. There's so much going on. Here's Daniel Braid, the speedster that's been killing ASU on these speed sweeps. He's not going to get the football. Then you get the speed option out here as well. So there's really a three-pronged play. You can give it to Bray, you can flip it out to Parker, or as Dampier, you can keep it yourself, which is what he elects to do. There's just so much to defend if you're ASU's defense. If your eyes get put in the wrong spot for just a half a second, it creates hesitation. You're behind the play, and that's what Utah's been doing all night. This offensive scheme led by Jason Beck is just so difficult to defend.
That was well drawn up there to show everybody what's going on those plays, how many different things you do have to try to defend. And then it's also Dampier, the guy who's making those decisions and then carrying the ball. And Arizona State just has not been able to tackle him tonight.
Tell you what, Utah just putting on a clinic behind Devin Dampier in this big offensive line. 238 rushing yards on the night. Remember, coming into the game, ASU had been holding opponents to less than 80 yards per game.
And not playing a soft schedule either, but they have not been able to slow down Dampier and Utah. So now the Sun Devils offense comes back on the field. They did march down the field last time they had it, got into the end zone. Behind their backup quarterback Jeff Sims playing tonight. ASU has not lost a conference game. We talk about the winless streak at home for Utah. ASU has gone almost exactly a calendar year since they last lost a conference game. That is very much in jeopardy tonight. The pass was completed, but out of bounds. Malik McClain was well out of bounds, so it doesn't count.
Seen a couple throws like that tonight by Jeff Sims. I think for the most part, he's done a pretty good job stepping in for the injured Sam Levitt. But on throws like that, you have to give your wide receiver a chance to make a play downfield, especially against man coverage.
Did you notice my mastery of the rules there? If you catch it, but you're all the way out of bounds, it doesn't count.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Raleek Brown empties the backfield. Sims is throwing to the left side and got the pass completed out there. That's Eusebio, Derek Eusebio, who hung on despite taking a big pop. It's third down coming up.
I suspect Arizona State's going to let this clock bleed down, maybe try a hard count, see if they can get a free 5 yards, but then let this clock, if Utah doesn't jump off sides, go into the fourth quarter and regroup as an offense.
And if they do that, it kind of tells you how this game is going for the Sun Devils. Down 35-10. They do snap the ball. Sims throws incomplete. Well, he was trying to hit Tyson, who was covered. Quarter in Salt Lake City. Utah has dominated this game. Arizona State down 25, going for it on fourth down. Sims in the pocket being pressured, and he gets away. Great effort by Sims to get the first down. That pocket was collapsing. Looked like he was going to get sacked. Instead, he breaks free for a big gain and a first down.
That was an excellent effort by Sims. Nowhere to go with the football. Give a lot of credit to this Utah secondary. Nobody was open for ASU. Jeff Sims does the next best thing, avoids the sack, gets outside the pocket, and picks up a big-time first down.
Yeah, that was John Henry Daly, the Big 12 sack leader, who didn't get him to the ground. This throw incomplete. He took a hit, Sims did. I think that was Daly who got the hit on him. 2nd and 10 coming up. Maybe a little frustration for Daly after missing a chance for a sack to play previous. 6.5 sacks this year for him. A guy who's come a long way to become a contributor on the defensive line. It was interesting to listen to his defensive coordinator try to very nicely say he's not the most explosive, physically gifted player. He's just worked his tail off to become a really good player. Open receiver downfield. That was Tyson, who had to go down to a knee to catch it. So it could have been a bigger game, but it is enough for an ASU first down.
Yeah, going back to John Henry Daly, I think it's a really great story. He's just a redshirt sophomore, but you just saw it. He's leading the Big 12 in sacks right now. He went to Morgan Scalley last season and said, "Coach, how can I get better?" Coach says, "You can improve your mobility." So he started doing yoga, other things like that. Now he bends better and he gets around that corner.
Yeah, and he and the Utah defense surround the quarterback, and he may get credit for another half of a sack at least. He was in the pocket that time.
Well, I tell you what, Henry Daly right at the top of your screen, 90. You see him on that quick inside move, just showing his power and strength. And then Trey Reynolds is there to clean it up. This Utah defense, they have just been relentless since the get-go tonight.
Officially just their 2nd sack, but they pressured Sims, and ASU, one of the sack leaders in the country, not a one. Sims goes down again. Back-to-back plays with a sack. This time it was Levani Damuni who got in there.
Well, I mean, it's really coming from all directions. Morgan Scalley elects to bring pressure. You see that coming right down the pipe. There's Teo Johnson. Just everybody's getting involved for this Utah defense right now. And it's just a tough spot for Arizona State. When you're in obvious passing situations going against a defensive front like this, they get to pin their ears back. They know what you're going to do. And right now, they're just feasting on this ASU offensive line.
I mean, they were into Utah territory. Now it's 3rd and 31. They're back at their own 35, and the pressure's coming again. And Sims ran into his own guy and goes down for a 3rd straight play.
And who else would it be but the man we've been talking about all series, John Henry Daly, coming off the edge. You're going to see here at the top of your screen. Get into it right now. Right here's John Henry Daly just winning with speed and power on the edge. That's Clem at left tackle. And it doesn't matter who's been at tackle, whether it's been Atkins or Clem. Nobody has had an answer for these defensive ends for Utah tonight.
That was just a blow-by by John Henry Daly. All that yoga paid off. A little line drive punt and returnable. And a nice return with broken tackles still going. Carvalho with a really nice punt return. It's all going well for Utah. Offense, defense, even special teams tonight for the Utes. Dominating Arizona State up 35-10. looked like the dominant team, and then the one in the far bottom right corner as Devin Dampier on the Utah offense back at it. There is a penalty flag down on the field, but if you missed that score, BYU had just went final. I'm sure a big chunk of our audience on this game, more than just casually interested in that score. BYU comes from behind in double overtime and beats Arizona. Utah and BYU next week down in Provo. It's a pretty big game.
Massive game.
So the penalty flag thrown on a run play there that went for almost 20 yards.
Well, not only do you have a huge game in Provo, you also have Texas Tech coming to Tempe to play Arizona State next week. A couple huge games in the Big 12.
There's a Sun Devils player who's down on the field hurt. The penalties against Arizona State. The play is going to count. It's just snowballing for ASU. They're going to have to massively regroup with Texas Tech coming in for that game you were just talking about. We still have almost a quarter to play here tonight.
And I think the real big question is, will Sam Levitt be available for Arizona State next week?
Foul. Illegal hands to the face. Defense number 9. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
So now Utah down deep into ASU territory again with 11:39 to go. Already up 35-10. That was Miles Rouser, by the way, who was hurt and had to be helped off the. He did get up, but he's going, looks like, towards the tent. Elijah O'Neal, the guy who actually was called for that penalty. First down, Utah inside the 15-yard line. Is that the second quarterback who's in? Bird Ficklin for Utah. Hand off. Parker still on his feet. And the tackling has not been great for the Sun Devils tonight. Good effort by Parker there. Well, that's interesting. I don't know if Dampier got dinged up or if because it's 35-10 in the fourth quarter, we're just going with the backup here from now till the end of the game.
I think that's what it is, Flem. You're just protecting Devin Dampier at this point. This ball game is well in hand for the Utes, and what a great opportunity to get the freshman Bird Ficklin some good reps against a quality defense.
I think you're right. Watching Dampier on the sideline there, I think that's exactly what's going on. Collision there with Parker inside the 5 down to the 4. Why not smile? Devin Dampier, and I know he'll probably downplay it after the game. This one had to mean a little extra for him. You grew up, what, 5 miles from the Arizona State campus, something like that.
Yeah, about 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive, and you know, overlooked by all the Arizona schools. Had to start his career at New Mexico before transferring into Utah this season. You know he was playing with a little extra chip on his shoulder tonight.
There's the freshman quarterback Ficklin, who takes it in for another Utah touchdown. Now the freshman from Muskogee, Oklahoma, here in Salt Lake City, just a 4-play, 42-yard drive into the end zone again. It's 41-10. Unstoppable on the ground tonight.
I tell you what, this has to be so demoralizing for this Arizona State defense. They have been playing really well the past couple weeks, especially when it comes to the run game, but got to tip your cap to Utah tonight. Boy, this offensive line took control of the line of scrimmage from the get-go, and they have put on an absolute clinic, rushing for 268 yards.
A lot of extra point practice for Dylan Curtis. A lot of cannon shots in the stadium. A lot of this for Utah tonight, just running roughshod on ASU 42-10.
There is no foul on the play.
And the Utah offense on the ground again. Those numbers are impressive coming in. This is more impressive. The way Arizona State had played defense coming into tonight, 268 yards, 6 rushing touchdowns. 6.
I don't think anybody saw this happening tonight, but boy, has this offense led by Jason Beck been impressive.
They're averaging as a team 7 yards a carry in the game. And for Arizona State, they're going to send Jeff Sims back out there, and I think part of it is just trying to figure out something on offense to carry forward. Depending on how much more Jeff Sims is going to have to play, we don't know.
That's a really good point, Flem. These are quality reps for Jeff Sims and the offense. If he's going to have to make the start next week against Texas Tech, who's leading the Big 12 right now, he needs to find a rhythm somewhere in this fourth quarter that he can carry over into the ball game next week.
He's got Udo behind him. And Kanye Udo will get the carry. The Army transfer. Straight ahead for just a couple of yards. Offense has been great. Defense has been excellent for Utah. And if all you did was watch the Utes against Texas Tech, it just feels like a totally different team to me tonight.
Well, you have to think they wanted to answer the call. They wanted to right the ship. They got embarrassed on their home field in the fourth quarter against Texas Tech a couple weeks ago when the game really got blown out. They wanted to come and make a statement tonight here at Rice-Eccles.
Sims, I think a smart decision. Don't take any big hits at this point with the game not hanging in the balance. Went out of bounds. Jeff Sims, this is his 27th career start, so it's not like he hasn't had a lot of playing experience, just not a lot with this group of offensive players with the Sun Devils. Saw John Henry Daly, the defensive end for Utah, with his helmet off on the sideline. So I think a lot of the frontline players for Utah are not on the field now. A completion out on the left side. So a catch for a first down.
That was a really nice job of Jeff Sims recognizing the pressure that Utah was bringing. Didn't hold on to the football. Found an open target and was able to pick up a first down for his ball club.
A.J. Ia, the tight end. Another game where Shimon Mateer just not all that involved on the offensive side for ASU. It might be too late now, but he's had a pretty quiet season so far for a very talented tight end. Udo gets another carry. Well, you weren't wrong to say the Sun Devils going to have to regroup because Texas Tech coming in next week. We showed that score. Pushed a little bit into the second half today by a pretty solid Kansas team. But Kyle Whittingham said to us this week, it is clear cut right now who the best team in this league is in his eyes, and it's Texas Tech.
Yeah, and I think the whole league agrees with what Coach Whittingham is saying. Texas Tech has proven it on a week-to-week basis. They're hitting on all cylinders right now.
That one incomplete, knocked away. Third down at 5 coming up. And for the Sun Devils, at home against the Red Raiders next week, then another home game. So back-to-back home games, maybe that helps stabilize things. At Iowa State, I mean, always a tough game to go to Ames, but Cyclones have had so many injuries here the last couple weeks. They are a different team than they were even 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and then look at Colorado on the schedule. Colorado knocking off Iowa State at home in Boulder today. That's a tough stretch of football coming up for the Sun Devils.
Sims in the pocket's going to scramble, wide open in front of him. He'll get the first down into Utah territory.
Now, I think the important thing to remember when you start looking at the schedule for the Sun Devils, and even Utah, Iowa State and Arizona State last year in the Big 12 championship, both teams went into the ballgame with 2 conference losses. So for Utah, they're at 1 loss. Arizona State, after tonight, they're at 1 loss. So this isn't season ending for ASU by any means, but your margin for error goes down drastically.
It's a good point. Sims had a lot of time that time, but he gets dragged down. That time is over. He got tackled from behind, so Utah gets Nate Tillman in the backfield, talented young defensive back. That'll be the 5th sack officially for the Utah defense.
This has just been a dominant performance by this Utah defense. It doesn't matter if the first string guys are in or now the second string. Nate Tillman, just a true freshman from Arlington, Texas, really ramping up his playing time. He's shown some really good things on tape through the early part of the season. Nothing going right for the Sun Devils.
His coach dropped a Cole Bishop comp on him when we were talking about him earlier this week. A guy who's gone on to some good NFL success of late. That one knocked down at the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd and 16 for Arizona State. Onai got his hand on that one. There's number 21 Tillman.
Boy, if you're Jeff Sims in this situation, I know the ball game's wrapped up, but you want to try to find a little bit of rhythm going into next week. If you can just get a completion here to get it to 4th and manageable, it'll be a big deal for your ball club.
Just a chance to run another play. He's going to hand the ball off right into the defensive line. So going nowhere. Penalty flags at the end of that play. Dallas Vankalahi he almost took the handoff. He was just waiting.
After the play was over, personal foul, defense number 98, unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
No, that's bailout. That gives ASU a first down.
Yeah, and you see his position coach, Luther Ellis, a little disappointed in Vankalahi. As you said, Flem, he was basically there to take the handoff. And I think what the foul was is the whistles had blown. There was a late kind of forceful toss down to the ground. It's got to be smart in situations like this.
Yeah, it wasn't the most extreme example of that we've ever seen, but you understand why they threw the flag. So first down ASU. Sims in the pocket, throws, and a nice catch. That was Jalen Moss, his second catch of the night. Arizona State happy to have him healthy. Maybe he can be a part of the offense going forward. They need somebody else to step up alongside Jordan Tyson. So much of the passing volume has gone to their star wide receiver.
I agree, Flem, and Jalen Moss needs to be that guy. A lot of preseason talk about how he can kind of be that number 2 wide receiver opposite of Jordan Tyson. Just been battling injuries all season long.
Man, Sims took a big hit trying to hit Eusebio in the end zone. Almost did. At this point of the game, you cannot get your second quarterback hurt, already down your starter.
You're going to see at the top of your screen just a big time hit right into the ribs of Jeff Sims. That's Nate Tillman, the true freshman that just made a big play a play ago. Marcus Arroyo, like you said, Flem, really needs to protect Jeff Sims here. Quick throws, screens. Can't afford to lose another quarterback.
Yeah, that just cannot happen at this point. Demarius Robinson in the left flat, the running back, catch and immediate tackle. There's nowhere to go. Number 1 priority has to be, in my opinion, to protect him. Because as we talked about coming into this game, it was just there's no quarterback depth behind the top 2. Christian Hunt can run the offense, but not to the degree that these 2 guys can. And that's it. After that, they have a running back or a wildcat situation going. Sims dumps it down. That's Robinson again with a lot of room. He'll cut it to the right side and get inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal, Arizona State.
It's a really nice job of Sims as the pocket is breaking down. He doesn't panic. He knows where his running back is in the check down out there on the swing pattern. Good job picking up a first down.
1st and goal, ASU. Over the top to nobody. Well, there was a receiver somewhere in the vicinity. That's Ia, the tight end. One thing that the Sun Devils are going to have to do a lot better is play along the offensive line with some more stability up front, because Texas Tech, I mean, if you think Utah's defensive line is powerful, and they are, Texas Tech They got one of the better defensive line units in the country.
No doubt about it. They are going to have to make some changes very quickly going into next week, because tonight this front five got bullied by Utah.
Sims, yeah, they're going to just let him run, take more hits. I don't know about that. That looked like a designed quarterback run.
Yeah, and he took a really big hit by Teo Johnson. Very physical safety for the Utah Utes. Keep an eye on number 5. That's going to fly into your screen. Lays a really big hit on Jeff Sims, and I'm with you, Flem. At this point, Kenny Dillingham needs to protect Jeff Sims so he is available next week in case Sam Levitt is not able to go.
I mean, maybe the starter will be right back in there, but it's a situation where it's those two, and that's it. That was the 21st carry of the game for Sims. He's looking to throw here, and toward the end zone, incomplete, knocked away. Trying to find Malik McClain. 4th and goal coming up. Teo Johnson got a hand on it. The frustration of a game that has gone sideways for the 35-year-old head coach, still the 2nd youngest coach in FBS football, even though this is his 3rd year with the Sun Devils.
Utah showing pressure. You have one-on-one matchups across the board.
Sims gets rid of it, incomplete on 4th and goal. And all that, a long drive, almost 7 minutes and 17 plays, and no points for the Sun Devils. Been that kind of night. Legacy is to the ASU program. Nothing more important, really, to the Sun Devils program than that, and good for Sam Levitt for doing that.
That's a really great move by Sam Levitt. Just shows the leader that he is and how he carries himself throughout the community. Really
I don't care how much NIL money you're making. You're 20 years old and you write a check for $15,000 to give it to that is impressive.
No doubt about it. That's really special. It says a lot about that person and who he is.
You know he's going to be antsy to get back on the field. Just have to wait for some updates this week and see if he can get out there against Texas Tech, the next opponent in Tempe. Final 3 minutes here from Salt Lake City. Kyle Whittingham's not going to have to answer any more questions about no home wins in the Big 12. Amazingly, this is going to be their first home league win since joining the Big 12. Backup quarterback in. The lefty's going to sling it, and a nice delivery along the left sideline. Man, that was pretty sweet. Bird Ficklin for a big gain through the air from the end zone. That looks smooth.
That was a great throw by the true freshman quarterback. Lefty getting a little action late here in the game. Throws a perfect football right over the defensive back for Arizona State. Excellent throw and catch.
Otto Tia with the catch there. Dampier right there to congratulate Ficklin. That play looked good. So the final seconds before the 2-minute timeout. So our last break here from Salt Lake City as the Utes put the finishing touches on a big win. Finishing touchdowns total for Utah. I mean, it's amazing that the time of possession, Arizona State dominated. We had that graphic. How many drives? 4 different drives of 6+ minutes for the Sun Devils, and they have 10 points on the board as the game is expiring.
They just weren't able to convert in critical situations. You look at 3rd down for the game, 7-19, and then the other thing that pops to me is red zone. They had 3 trips down to the red zone, but they only came away with 1 touchdown. So yes, they possessed the football a lot. They were able to kind of drive up and down the field, but once they got into plus territory, they just stalled out.
It's not often where you see a team run 25 more plays than their opponent, have 15 more minutes of possession, and lose by 32. That just doesn't happen.
Those Indiana Hoosiers, they're rolling. What a win that was today.
He'll be texting you this week. Fernando will be.
We already talked tonight. But big wins over Illinois, and that's going to be a fun story to watch unfold. But here tonight, Utah, 278 yards rushing, over 7 yards per carry. I don't care how long Arizona State possessed the football. If you can't stop a run like that, And the game that Devin Dampier had, what a win for the Utes.
And a very big game is looming now next week. ASU's got to regroup because they got the Red Raiders coming to Tempe. Utah drives down the road to Provo to take on undefeated BYU in a real big rivalry game.
I tell you what, I love the teeth of conference play. 2 massive games for these teams next week. We're really going to find out who's going to rise to the top out of the Big 12, I think, in the next 2-3 weeks.
Well, thanks for hanging